Hello, everybody.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. And hi, Kelly. We've
Hello.
been meaning to have this uh, podcast for a little while to talk
Yeah,
about how to dance for energy vortexes and our up and coming workshops.
yeah.
Because what we found is lots of people seem to know how to dowse for yes and no answers and for what their biofield is reading. And there's
Hmm.
people have different ways of doing this, and they're quite confident about doing this. But pendulums can also be used, which is what we use in our work, to be able to measure the magnetic field and the direction of spin of that magnetic field of anything. So it can be objects. We use it on water, we use it on food, and we use it in our demonstrations. And that's quite a different skill.
Hmm.
And it's because you have to think about things quite differently. So,
Yeah.
Cal, I wondered if you would speak a little bit about when you first of all started to use a pendulum. What did you use it for? Did you start using the yes and no, or did you start using the looking for vortexes?
So I did at the time when I first started. I don't think I understood the vortex thing, but I was looking for the vortex. I was looking for that spin. Um, but the way that we do it now, that you introduced me to, is a lot different. And now I have the understanding of it, and it makes complete sense. So I was just kind of holding it over the product, seeing which direction it would swing, and getting used to being able to clear my mind to just concentrate on that thing. I had a clear understanding of that, and not having a preconceived idea. So I was on the right track. I just wasn't on the track, if you know what I mean. I was just like, I was just coming to it. So when you introduced me to a different way of using it, like it all clicked into place and made sense.
Yeah, I think us working together has been great. So I
Yeah.
use the pendulums for the grid work, for the energy work on the land. And so what I was doing before we met was going to places and working with the energies there because
Mhm.
and what I realized, I mean, none of this is taught in books, right? And anything taught in books is not necessarily reliable
Mhm.
because this information it does not really want to be got out there. So
Mhm.
I was going to places, and they could be things like cenotaphs or churches or particular spots within grounds or in a house or by, even outside in a field. And what
Mhm.
I noticed was that there was different areas whenever you went to these different areas of the land, and it was all linked to the water.
Mhm.
Whenever you went to these different places, my pendulum would swing clockwise or anti-clockwise. But what I had to do is I had to find those energy places first. And I knew that there was a vortex because I'd researched that before. And I realized what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to feel for, is which direction is this vortex spinning in? So my method was to hold the pendulum not in the fingers. There's some people put them over their
I'll just
fingers.
demonstrate a little bit. Like,
Demonstrate
so
this.
you hold it like a flat hand with the
Or this
pendulum
way.
there,
Well, I can
or
do
that
it.
way. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the way you do it, isn't it? Like
yeah.
that. So it's through the fingers. Hmm.
And this is really important because the little chain at the top, and even if it's a string, you can feel this. When you, first of all, when you go actually over the vortex, you can feel, let's say if you were going to give it a little bit of a swing, right, which is what some people do, okay? And sometimes I do. If the field isn't very strong, it's hard to do. So I'll get it to spin, because I don't know, I'm going to get it to spin one way. What you find is the little chain or the string, when it's going the direction that the vortex wants to go in, it feels very smooth. You
Hmm.
can't feel any kind of resistance here in your hand, and it kind of wants to go.
Hmm.
But when it goes the opposite way round to what it wants to go, you feel between your fingers the little, buckles, the little connectors or the string, and it feels resistant.
Yeah.
And I think that some people, when they're training to do this, and what we saw in our last workshop, they're very used to just kind of using their intuition and which way to go, to kind of be more still, and you're
Hmm.
feeling actually for something external, but you have to focus on that because there are loads of fields around. So you have to set your intention. This is right, and this is how these things are connected to us now by the field. But you have to set your intention, and then what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out where that vortex, the direction of that spin is.
It's a very, very subtle energy, isn't it? And I think this is about working more intuitive with the pendulum. And I didn't come across the way that you did it before about kind of like giving it a spin first, because you get a lot of these people, and my other half is the same. It's like, but you're spinning it. I'm like, I'm spinning it to gain it momentum to see which way it wants to go. So like if you kind of go in a clockwise direction, you'll spin it like this, but then automatically it might want to change, and you might find it starts to go swing that way, and then it will go in the direction that it wants to go in. So it's not like you're cheating, because a lot of people will say, oh, you're cheating. It's not that you're cheating, you're just giving it a bit of oomph. Who's got all the time in the world to wait for it to swing? You're just giving it a bit of like boost to do its thing properly. So just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, and so when people come to our workshops, you know, we will take the time and say, look, look at my hand, it's still as a rock, because I've felt for the field first. And I find you have to find the right place. I mean, if it's right at the edge of the vortex, remember these things are like spinning up and getting bigger. You know, you don't necessarily have it. And if you are going to give it a little bit of a push, you then need to keep your hand very steady. And by the way, that's very hard to do when you're talking and teaching at the same time, because you're moving. You got to keep your hand then steady and find out, where is this going, and not get distracted. You know, and a lot of people, when they start, what happens is they are focused so much. I mean, you know, in our workshops, we don't tell people the direction it's supposed to go in. We at first, like, we give different types of water, and we're not telling them, and they're so focused on, well, what's the right answer? What should I be doing? Because they're new. Loads of stuff is going into their fields, and they're not focused on just feeling that one thing. But I would say after half an hour, an hour's practice, people actually go, oh my gosh, okay, I get it. I can now feel it. And it's like riding a bike. Once you can feel it, once you get that sensation, you're like, I get it now. And so in our workshops, we then put out like mystery waters, if you know what I mean. People don't know what they are. And we get everybody to test it. And then people then converge and they go, I got the same as you. I got the same as you. I've got the same as you. Even though they're doing this independently, because they've got it.
Yeah. It's so easy to teach, and it's so powerful. I even taught my dad over Christmas, and he was using a pendulum as well. He'd never felt energy before. He'd never felt that subtle energy. And he was like, oh my God, I can really feel it. I'm like, this is like my 72-year-old dad. So, and he has no clue about anything of this kind of thing. So it's so easy to teach, and you can get it so quickly. You just have to be very open-minded and very focused, and able to really tap in and feel that subtle energy, like I call it, the energy wall. And it really brings you into your body at the same time, because you are just only focusing on that one thing. It's quite an amazing process. So, and you brought that out, Joe, so that's really amazing. So I always thank you for teaching me that, because I didn't know that. It is amazing, honestly. It's changed a lot for me.
And it depends on the pendulum as well, because the copper ones, or we're going to start selling these on our website, because they're actually quite hard to find, and we've ordered ones which we thought were the same and have come back and have not been the same. So the ones in our workshops that we give people to work with, and the dowsing rods, are like really high copper content, and that makes them very sensitive and very easy to work with. The crystal ones, do you know, I am not a fan of crystal pendulums.
I mean, I've got one here just because the first one that I grabbed, I like it because it's very heavy, and you can kind of get the sensitivity of it. And I've been working with it for a long time. But again, the copper ones are much better. Much better. Hence why we decided to sell just those ones.
Yeah, and there's the copper with like a spiral on it. And for everybody that doesn't know this already, that copper is right next to the ether. That it's got a lot of charge. And so if you think about the quantum side of this, copper has a charge. People think that electricity, this is what you get taught at school, the electrons are pushed along the copper wire. This has been disproven, although it's still taught in schools. It's a field that goes around the copper wire. So, when you've got this high quality, amount of copper, it really does make a difference. And just to say about the crystal ones, the reason why I don't like the crystal ones is because they're harder to work with. They're probably absolutely fine for yes/no answers, but energy, aka frequency, sticks to them.
Yes.
And so you can be working with it, and then you halfway through, you don't know what energy stuck to it, and it starts not to be. And I was like, oh, this is just doing my head in. So I moved to the copper ones, and it's much easier.
It is much easier, lots easier.
So we're going to put them on our website for people to have, because these are not that easy to get hold of. Good luck if you can find them and grab them elsewhere. That well done. But yeah, and also the dowsing rods being copper is really, really important. I mean, when we first of all met,
many, haven't we?
oh my gosh, and I was using brass ones, and quite big brass ones, because I was doing the grid work on the land, and those vortexes are bigger, and the brass ones, are quite sensitive. And they're quite heavy. I got one of those ones so I could keep them in my pocket, because I keep bending my copper. Right. But they're not good for measuring fields. They're too clumsy. And your dowsing rods that you've got with the thicker handles are absolutely brilliant. But,
they are.
And I had a pair, and someone was absolutely desperate for them, so I gave them to them. I says, okay, I can get another one, and we haven't been able to find them since. So but I've got used to my smaller handle ones, so they've got like a smaller thing to hold on to. They just take a bit of getting used to. Yours ones, I think, are the absolute best ones. And when we can source them, we're going to, put them on our website as well, because they're not easy to get hold of.
Yeah, no, they're not. We've got through so many, haven't we? And we're like, nope. We've got like a whole bin full of dowsing rods.
Yeah, we did. And we also had somebody who's absolutely brilliant, who bought one of the biofield defense shields, and what he said, well, I've tried doing the dowsing, because I've got some dowsing rods, so I'll put my dowsing rods on the door handle. Door handle, and then I tried to measure myself. So this is something we need to explain to people about, how the dowsing rods work with your field and are an extension of your field, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because you need that power of 3. So there's no point in sticking it on a door and expecting it to move, because it's got no energy to move. So they do become an extension of your field. So that's why they didn't work. But we explain that in the workshop as well.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, that's right. I mean, you're not separate to everything. You're trying to connect, and the more organic your connection, then the easier these things are. And when you are doing either of the dowsing, it's very important to set your intention, because your biofield is full of information. These are an extension of your biofield. If you're thinking about your dinner and worrying about this, that, and the other, you're not looking at the thing, and it's harder to pick up the actual spin, right, and the actual field. So we go through all of this in our workshop, teach people how to do it. They measure each other. We've even had people bring in their own water that they've produced. And do you remember Donna? She came in because she's been writing love and all these things on her water for ages, right?
Yeah, so she had. I mean, and it really worked well for her, didn't it?
Yeah. So she had this in, and she tested it, and she said, "Wow, look at the field that I've got," which we know because Donna's magical, right? But then other members of the group came in to see for themselves, and then they started to be able to see, okay, that water has this bigger field. It's easy to measure or whatever. This one's got a bigger field. This is going the wrong way round, and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and and some people get it so quickly, and they're like pick it up straight away. But other people, they're like, oh, this is so annoying. So sometimes it doesn't work straight away. So this is why these workshops are really good. And you may not even be able to get it when you're there, but as long as you carry on practicing, is what I had to do. I couldn't get it straight away. It took me ages to be able to do it. But then when it clicked, and then it works every time. It's just the way you understand it and the way that you can clear your mind that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And the lady that I taught on Friday, Tracy, oh my God. You know what? I teared up a bit, right? Because it was just seeing her do it. She sent me a video because I was teaching it to her on Friday, and she's using a pendulum for yes/no questions, which is, you know, an extension of your field. And so I taught her this way, and she was like, "Oh, this is so different way of working it. I'm going to need to practice." And she was like, "You know, I'm gonna really try and do this." And then she sent me a video last night of her doing it. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I get it! I get it! I can feel it! I know what it is. I'm feeling for now. I've got it." And what she says she does is she really sets that strong intention first, so she knows and her body can feel what it is it's looking for. It's a bit like, I'm going to do this trick again. I do this trick all the time. Can you feel your big toe? Well, you probably couldn't until I've just mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your body can't be in full like sensory mode all the time, can it? Otherwise we'd be overloaded. So we switch ourselves down, and then we have to switch ourselves on specifically. So,
and this workshop, I mean, that lady had been doing energy work for a long time, hasn't she? So this isn't just for beginners in dowsers. This is for people that have been doing it for years, and this is just giving a completely different, literally swing. No pun intended. On it completely, and what to look for. So like you say, it's not just yes or no answers. You can use them for so many different things. You can do this. You can look for work, do things remotely as well. And just talking about that, Joe, do you remember when we were talking about, because obviously I've got quite good at dowsing now and kind of know what to look for. But remember when I sent you a video, I was watching Forrest Gump over Christmas, wasn't I? And I just said, look at the cenotaph that's on a place in part in Forrest Gump where he sees whatever her name is, and is it called the Needle or something that's in Washington, and it's by the body of water, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, because this is something else we could talk. This is something else we talk about in the workshop. But how that cenotaph is actually programming the water for negative reasons. It's turning it the wrong way. So I thought, let me see if my theory is true. So all I did was set my intention to douse the needle in Washington while I was looking at the TV, had complete stillness, and it was going anti-clockwise. It was crazy. Yeah, so it can all be done remotely when you get good at what you're doing.
Yes, brilliant explanation. And you know, this is what we talk about in the workshop. So once you have this different view of really this reality we work in, and then you can start to measure it, then you can start to understand where we are, and you can do something about it. And that's what you said, and it's absolutely true, right? Well, we are so powerful, but because we don't know it, or you know, we just walk past these things, we don't realize their effect. So just briefly, like our workshops, the first one's on the 26th of January. You've got to get your tickets in quick for this. We've got quite a few people interested in booking this right now. We sold a ticket today. We've been very slow promoting this, actually. It's in a fantastic place, but we've just got the word out, so people are going to book onto this very quickly. And I'm just going to show you a bit about the place and what we're going to be doing in this workshop. So first of all, it's how long is this going to be? It's 5 hours workshop, and we work really hard. So you get loads and loads out of this. You'll meet some amazing like-minded people, which is the whole point of this. And we go right into the details of what me and Kelly talked to live, but we also go into the science a bit more, about quantum physics. We talk about Emoto's work, Vader Austin's work, and relate that to you. And then what we really talk about is the water quality. Like, we're going to show you tap water and all the toxins in it. We're going to measure the field of the toxic water. We're going to transform the field of the toxic water. We're going to be putting different codes in water, stuff that you can only see here, it actually in a workshop. So you get to experience those different frequencies and their effects. And one of the magical things, I wonder if you just talk a bit about this, Kelly, is about how we transform someone's biofield and then we transfer it to other people.
Yeah, so we can do this a number of ways, and we do show you this in the workshop, but it's mind-blowing how just a little micro dot of water can literally transform the field of the whole room. So I'm not going to go into it too much because I don't want to give a spoiler alert away, because this is something that you need to book onto the course to see. But it's absolutely magic. It's just by a flick of water, and then we're all transformed to that high vibrational state. Our biofields go in the correct way, and it just passes from person to person. So yeah, it's seeing is believing with this. Like, you won't believe it.
And you know, our hardest job on this whole thing is to keep people separate, because we do so many different experiments when we're there to show people that what we don't want to do is charge everybody up right at the start.
Yes.
but by the end, everybody's charged up. So this is also a healing session. It's an absolute healing session, because
absolutely.
everybody's auras when they go out are massive, and they're absolutely buzzing.
Mm-hmm. And then this is something that you can go then and do yourself and show your family, you show your friends, and it becomes something in your toolbox that you can go and teach everybody else. It is the best pub trick in the world.
Best pub trick in the world, isn't it? And something we need to add to this, which you haven't put in here, we also do some kinesiology. We do muscle testing, which is just magic. And I think, Kelly, after revisiting what you did over Christmas about the lifting of the person, we need to do that again and explain to people how that works, because that's just knocks people over, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Yeah.
And also, everybody, we give you a gift worth £25 when you book onto the course, right? So you get your own little crystal to take away with, plus some structured water with monatomic gold in, and we put in a unique frequency that we don't put in any of our products. So you will go away like not only healed, but with loads of knowledge. You'll be able to start exploring the world with new eyes, but you will have intense healing from this session and some magic from Auntie Kelly.
Thank you, Auntie Jo. Honestly, guys, there is nothing like this workshop. You won't learn anything else. We can pretty much guarantee anywhere, because it's knowledge that's come through to me, to Jo, and we've brought it all together, mixed it up in a big magical bowl, and made a course with it. And and it is absolutely life-changing once you know this information.
Absolutely. There's nobody else doing this. Nobody else here on the planet doing what we do. So the other course is on February the 16th. And this is with a bio-well reading. So this is absolutely amazing, guys. So you will get a bio-well reading from Alex in Buxton. And this will sell out pretty quickly. We've got 6 tickets left on this. This will sell out pretty quickly. You get the bio-well reading. It's kind of, we measure with the bio-well, which is like curling photography, digital curling photography. You get your reading before and after. It's like a summary, and we look at everybody's energy field. And listen, spoiler alert, everybody becomes balanced.
Yeah.
We look at the meridian lines, we look at their organs, and what happens is people have like discombobulated in various different ways. At the end, everybody's field is aligned. It's just incredible. And we've got another level 1 course on the 30th of March, same place in Wolverhampton. So I've got some pictures of the place in Wolverhampton, and that is in March. That will be the end of our level 1 courses for this year. We are then going to move, this is the plan. Then next we're going to be working on to level 2 and then level 3. By the time you get to level 3, you'll be able to do what Kelly is doing. But you can't do that. It doesn't matter how good you are at dowsing or anything. You can't do that without doing level 1 and level 2 and having some space in between.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the level 2 is more in depth and a lot different. And then the level 3 will be on Zoom, and then that will be for a continuous however many weeks. But so they're all very different, but they all work absolutely hand in hand with everything that you learn on the first workshop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I had some pictures up here. I'm not quite sure why they're not on here, but let me just quickly go to the venue website for Mind Body Lab. They've got lots of different workshops. Find Us Home. Where do I find this again? What do you say, sorry?
Have they got images there?
There were, because I put them on our website, but I can't find where they've gone.
Oh.
So, hang on.
It's in between Wolverhampton and Stafford. It's in like the countryside, but it's still very easy to get there, just off the motorway of the M6, M54.
I'm not sure if it's just going very slow. So you've got all this car parking space, which is great. It's right next to water and lots of lovely trees. You've got this beautiful space for us to work in. Weather being good or bad, actually, we're going to go out and talk to some trees. This is a very, very special place. And then actually, sorry, could you see that then?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, yeah, it's come up, great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful space. And I found this just so by accident a few years ago. So completely just divine find. It's just crazy.
It's magical, isn't it?
Yeah. So an amazing
guys,
place.
Get your tickets booked ASAP for us, please. You will not be disappointed. This will be complimentary to anything else you're doing. The BioWild ones will sell out pretty quickly. We've got enough tickets for January, but we've just promoted to a group, so expect those to go quite quickly. So that's 3 level 1s for the first part of the year. Then we'll move on to level 2s, which will be in person. Then we'll do level 3s one-to-one. I mean, it's on a Zoom call, because that's gonna take what, 3 months at least to run that level 3.
Yeah.
At least. So we've done it over 6 months before, but we're going to see if we can do it over 3 months, but it depends on practice. There's a lot of homework with this one.
Yeah, there is.
what Kelly does brilliantly and what she teaches brilliantly is how to connect to the core of who you are and not connect to anything else, because that's where you get misinformation from.
Absolutely. That's it. So, misinformation, and to unlock your blueprint, to then unlock other people's blueprint. I mean, I had a lot of people, someone asked me from India, actually text me saying, I really want to connect to guides and give people past, present and future readings and all that kind of thing. Is that something that you can do? I said, is it something that you can do? That's more of the question. I said, that's what I'm teaching you, is to be able to unlock the core of you and bring through what you need to. I said, this isn't like put things in a box course. This opens you up to whatever that you want to do. And he's like, oh, right, okay. So, yeah, it's magic. And again, no one else is teaching this kind of stuff.
It's
pretty much guaranteed.
Absolutely, because a lot of the work out there at the moment is maybe relying on external forces. And we have this conversation a lot. People have their guides and various things, but that's not you. And it's not as powerful as you are.
Yeah.
And you're giving your power away. Yeah, you might be getting help, but you are nowhere near as strong as what you've got in here. But you need to unlock it. We need to kind of try a different method. And like Kelly said, nobody is doing this. So we really hope you're going to join us on this journey. And we look forward to seeing you and bringing you on this journey. So if you've got any comments, put them in here. We'll answer all your questions. But let's get cracking. It's 2025.
Let's do this. We have. Yeah, amazing. Can't wait. Really excited.
Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Yes. Sorry, Kelly. Did I cut you off?
No, it's okay. I just said I'm just really looking forward to this year. I just know it's going to be a magical year. For people aligning with themselves. No one needs a middleman. That's what I keep saying. You don't need a middleman. You only need yourself.
And with all the stuff that's going on, I mean, it seems like a psyop a day keeps the truth busy.
Yeah, that's it.
Imagine you don't need to listen to any of that and go, oh, well, I've read this document and I've seen this video. And you don't need to, because you will know. You will know when you unlock yourself. So that's what we say. So brilliant. So thank you very much for listening, guys. If you've got any comments, let us know. And Much love.
Much love. Bye.